Hey everyone, it's Lena Howland reporting for ABC 10. I wanted to take you live right now. We are outside of the Stanislaus County courthouse. I just walked out of Gustavo Arriaga's first court appearance. As you know, as we've been talking about for the past few days now, Gustavo Arriaga, 33-year-old, is accused of murdering Corporal Ronil Singh out of Newman here in Stanislaus County. His case has gained national attention. The courtroom was completely packed earlier today. It started at 1:30 and we just walked out of the courtroom. So I just wanted to run through some of my notes here because our cameras were not allowed in the courtroom and our cell phones were not allowed in the courtroom either. So I just wanted to bring you up to speed on some of the updates that we just heard in that courtroom. Now we know now Gustavo Arriaga's attorney said that Arriaga is not his real legal name. He actually goes by his third alias of Paulo Mendoza. I could be saying that incorrectly, so I'm sorry if I'm not saying that correctly, but he does go by that third alias of Paulo Mendoza. We also know now that the court proceedings were suspended today pending a doctor's report on Arriaga's mental competency. So what that means is that he's going to come back here to the Stanislaus County Courthouse in 5 weeks on February 7th at 8:30 in that same division. And that's when we will hear the doctor's report on his mental competency, if he's actually mentally competent to continue these court proceedings or not. And that day of February 7th, that is the earliest that we are going to hear a possible plea from this man now known as Paulo Mendoza. So after he appeared in court, we also saw the other 4 suspects that were arrested here in Stanislaus County for helping hide Arriaga or Mendoza last week. They appeared in court and they asked for more time to continue going through some of the discovery in this process. So all 4 of those suspects are actually going to be back in court this Friday at 8:30 in the morning, and that's when their pre-trial hearing will begin. So those are the nuts and bolts of what I just learned in this courtroom. Again, it was packed. They only let 7 reporters in, and we have reporters from all over this area here covering this, so it was a privilege to sit in on that, but absolutely heartbreaking. We did see, I believe, most of the Newman Police Department sitting in on this, as well as the family of Corporal Singh. We did also see at least 7 members of the defendant's family sitting in on this. They sat right in front of the row of reporters. So for those of you just now tuning into this Facebook Live, we're bringing you up to speed on what we just learned inside of this courtroom. We know now that Arriaga, his legal name is Paulo Mendoza. He's going to appear back in court in 5 weeks. They asked for proceedings to be suspended pending a doctor's report on his mental competency. So that's what we know right now. The 4 others that are accused of helping him hide last week, they will be back in court for their pretrial hearing on Friday at 8:30. So right now I wanted to pull in 2 wonderful ladies that were standing out front of the courthouse earlier today. They are here showing their support for law enforcement. You may have seen some of our tweets about them, showing off some of their signs and some of their messages that they're hoping to get across. So I wanted to pull you 2 ladies aside in front of these steps here, and we just did an interview with them. So tell us who you are with, and what brings you out here today in support of these officers.
Hello there. We are the founders of Stand Together to Make a Change. My name is Carrie Crane, here with Amanda Young, and today our primary focus was to show support to Corporal Ronil Singh's family, his wife, mother, father, brother, and let them all know that as they go in and face their loved one's murderer face to face, we are out here in front of the courthouse showing our support and letting them know that we have their back.
And I know we were all standing out here together when we saw the family of Corporal Singh walk in together, showing, you know, sort of a sign of, you know, being together and showing that solidarity. So what was that moment like for you? I know we saw tears down some of their faces before they even walked into the courthouse. Right. So what was that moment like for you?
You could just see how much it meant to them.
said thank you quietly. Several of them bowed their heads at us. Just one put her hand over her heart. And, you know, they couldn't really say a whole lot. I'm sure it's extremely emotional. It was emotional for us. I had chills. It just, you know, tears. It's just heartbreaking. I can't even imagine their loss. I can't imagine what they're going through. And this is just a small thing that we can do. You know, this is just
to show our love.
To show our support.
And thankfulness for his sacrifice.
And so why is it so important for you guys to let both the family and the members of our Newman Police Department know that they are not alone as they go through this difficult process?
Yeah, we're both wives of cops, and so we kind of think about what it would be like if it was us. What would we want done if it was our loved one, if it was our husband that was taken away from us, if it was the father of our children taken away from us?
It's very close to home.
Way too close.
And you mentioned that you were both wives of our brave police officers?
Yeah.
Is that here for Modesto Police or
Which Sheriff's Department?
My husband's from the Bay Area.
Wonderful. Yeah. Wonderful. Well, thank you ladies for being out here. I'm sure our members of law enforcement certainly appreciate it. Now, I know that you guys weren't, because the courtroom was so packed today, you guys were not able to actually sit in on the court proceedings. They didn't let, you know, outside members of the public in. So you standing out here hearing my update, that may have been one of the first times you heard what actually happened.
Yeah.
What?
We were curious.
So what is your takeaway of that? What do you think of that? You know, he's going to be back in court in 5 weeks. He has to go through a mental competency review with the doctor. So what do you think about that?
Interesting, the way the system works.
Yeah.
I feel like our tongues are tied here.
Yeah.
You never want to say the wrong thing because we're going to be persecuted for it. But, you know, bottom line, we know that he's mentally capable to stand trial because he plotted to flee the very country he came to and committed all these illegal crimes. So it's interesting to see that he didn't stand up and take accountability for his actions like a real man. He's a coward and gonna try to pull the I'm not mentally stable card, and it's laughable.
At the same time though, we want the courts to do their job so that it's a solid case, so that we can get a conviction, so that we can get justice for Corporal Singh. And as you know, Carrie said, it's kind of crazy that that we have to go through that process, but if that's the process they have to go through, dot their I's and cross their T's, do it. Just the goal here is to get justice for his family and for him and the community and Newman Police Department and everybody that's been affected by this.
Wonderful. Okay. And then one final question for you ladies. Are you going to continue to, I know that I've covered many murder cases in the past, and I know that these aren't easy. I know that this could take years. This is not going to be an overnight process. So are you going to continue to show up to some of these court appearances and show your support for the officers?
Absolutely. Yep. And the Capitol. We're going to be going to the Capitol too to voice our concerns and demand change. Too many people, we've been silent for too long.
Yep. Okay. Perfect. All right. Well, thank you ladies very much for joining me out here today and talking about this very sensitive case. I know this isn't an easy time for anybody, especially in a law enforcement family. So we appreciate everything that you ladies do as well. Thank you very much. So again, those were some supporters of law enforcement, actually wives of local police officers that came to show their support for the family of Corporal Singh and the Newman police officers that walked right into that courtroom earlier today and sat in on Gustavo Arriaga's first court appearance. I'm just going to run through those nuts and bolts of this case just one more time here for those of you that are just now listening in. We know now that Gustavo Arriaga's attorney said that his legal name is actually Paulo Mendoza. That was his third alias that he was using. He still has a December 28th, 1986 date of birth. And we also know that he's going to return back to court in 5 weeks pending a doctor's report. They said that they wanted his proceedings to be suspended pending that doctor's report on his mental competency. So he will return back here to the Stanislaus County Courthouse on February 7th at 8:30 in the morning. We also know that the 4 suspects accused of helping him hide last week from police, they were also in court today, and they will return back to court on Friday of this week at 8:30. That is when they will go through their pre-trial hearing process. So we will be back in court with them on Friday. We will let you know what happens. I'm going to step aside with our photographer to continue piecing together our story for tonight at 5 and 6. We will have more reports out here from Stanislaus County recapping what happened in court. To watch those, tune in live on ABC 10. You can also watch that live on abc10.com, and it will be posted on our website as well. So we're going to continue to track this case. It may take a while. Again, these processes never happen overnight, but we will continue to stay on this. So for now, reporting live in Stanislaus County, Lena Howland, ABC 10 News.